Ho, ho, ho! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Movie Log number 3, Yuletide Log Edition. Yes, Christmas time is almost here, and I got in the spirit. This is the only time of year where you can watch these movies, so I like to make the most out of it. Here's the stack of physical media goodies I will be talking about today. I'll also be sprinkling in a couple of movies that I watched on streaming services, because yes, I love collecting physical media behind me, but sometimes you can only watch certain things through a provider of sorts, your HBO Maxes, your Netflixes of the world. I'll be talking about a couple of those. I want to say The Penguin is one of them. We'll talk about that later. But if you like movie review content, make sure you give this video a like. You give me a subscribe, all that fun stuff. I started to do movie logs because every day over on Letterboxd, I put up a new review. And that's where my reviews have lived. But I feel like on this space, I talk about collecting physical media and I don't talk enough about actually watching the movies that I have in the collection. So with Movie Log 3, I'm getting in the festive spirit. Let's start off with a couple of movies that I have not seen ever. And I'm like, okay, I finally have to change this. One of which, It's a Wonderful Life. And guess what, folks? It's a wonderful movie. Slash that. It's a perfect movie. I gave this movie a 5 out of 5, but I will say, after I was done watching it, I don't think It's a Wonderful Life is really a Christmas movie. I would say the last half hour is a Christmas movie, but what makes this movie so beautiful and worth a watch, even if you do not like black and white movies, or if you're very scared to dip your toe into very old classic films, I totally understand that. But this is just, you're going through one man's life and the ups and downs that it brings with it, and I found that truly fascinating. And if that man is James Stewart, you're not going to go wrong. Here's the Steelbook, the 4K Steelbook that came out a couple of years ago. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. That's the only thing I knew about this movie. Very happy that I watched it. The 4K I thought looked fine, and then I watched some of the special features on here, and it made me appreciate the transfer that much more compared to what it used to be before the 4K transfer came to be. And I love how they actually showed the transfer process as a special feature. I wish that more studios put more love into their special features like It's a Wonderful Life did. Here's a kind of a shot of the inside. I'll pull it all out. It's a Wonderful Life is worth showing off every ounce of the release. Look at that. The Wonderful Potter family. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I found this movie charming as all get out. I found the relationship to be realistic and one you're rooting for sure. This also came with a mini poster right here. Very, very cute. Love to see that. And if you haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life, let me tell you, it took me 35 years of my life to finally check it out, even though it's on TV, or it was on TV when I was growing up all the time. It is worth a watch, folks. Let me tell you. Next, let's go on to a completely different route. I think I'm going to go a couple Christmas movies, one non-Christmas movie, and another Christmas movie that's kind of not a Christmas movie, but it takes place during Christmas, and there's a lot of Christmassy shenanigans about. Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang. I saw this movie when it originally came out. This is the movie that made me a Shane Black fan. This is the first movie he directed, and that made me deep dive more into his work as a writer. Like he wrote Predator, he wrote Lethal Weapon. He has a very prolific discography. Let me tell you what. And as a director, having this go and then kind of mixing that with The Nice Guys, he's done The Predator. He's done a little bit of everything in Hollywood. I remember liking this a lot more when I saw it in my late teens than I do now in my mid 30s. Some things haven't aged as well as what I would have liked or what my nostalgic brain thought they did. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking done by Robert Downey Jr. and every time that happened to me now, that's like eye roll inducing. But at the time in my teenage years, I'm like, revolutionary, more of this in my life. I don't need any more of that. Kind of Deadpool-esque, but he's just your normal average guy. And it's just kind of being a quirky for quirk's sake, I guess. It just wasn't needed. What I like about Shane Black is how he makes his characters kind of interact with one another. The buddy cop of it all. It's a subgenre that I need to watch more of, because every time I do, I have a fun time with it. Val Kilmer is great. Robert Downey Jr. is great. Michelle Monaghan is also phenomenal. The trio of all three of them mixing and intermingling in this movie is what kept my attentions rolling in this. I gave Kiss Kiss Bang Bang a 3.5 out of 5. If you haven't seen it in a long time, like myself, maybe not put it on, but I will say the Christmassy effects in here. It's Christmas as seen in mid-2000s LA, which is definitely a vibe for sure. And if you're looking for something a little off the beaten path this holiday season, I'm in the boat to where Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It's an action movie first, but it also falls underneath a Christmas movie just because of how much Christmassy stuff is in the Nakatomi Plaza. That's the reason why the movie is happening. There's a Christmas party there. He's flying home for Christmas. This takes place during Christmas. This is a little less than what Die Hard is in the Christmas department, plot-wise, but it's still very fun to see LA Christmas out. It's a fun movie. 3.5 out of 5. That means I really liked it when I thought I loved it back in 2007-8, whenever I originally watched this. But now let's go to a non-Christmas movie, shall we? Let's go with a movie that came out this year from DreamWorks Animation. We have The Wild Robot in glorious 4K, people. I'd heard nothing but great things about this movie. I have a friend who is constantly talking to me like, have you seen Wild Robot? Have you seen Wild Robot? Your kids are gonna love Wild Robot. He was right. I thought The Wild Robot was a delightful film. I did not think I would care about the relationship between a robot and a gooseling. Is that what you would call it? And I absolutely did. What DreamWorks was able to pull off, they were walking a tightrope between like making this not kid-friendly enough and talking about serious subject matter, but still making it relatable to children and having them captivated through the entire thing. Because not only were my kids in love with this movie, I was in love with this movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5. My oldest daughter has read all 3 books, so it makes me excited to see the sequel, because this did surprisingly well at the box office as well. It's one of those animated movies that started off okay opening weekend, but just continued to roll and made a good amount of money. I'll put the box office of what it made total there. But if you have not seen Wild Robot, I would recommend it if you're a fan of animation. I would recommend it if you have any children whatsoever, because it's rare to get content to where the whole family actually likes it. And The Wild Robot, to me, is a great example of this. The 4K is still in my 4K player, but here's the 4K and the Blu-ray. Special features wise on this, it's always fun. My kids always find it fun to find the drawings, like how to draw stuff. My oldest loves to like watch people draw stuff and draw it while they're doing it. This has a great special feature on that. There's also an alternate opening, which is okay. There's a I'm always a sucker for seeing the cast or voice and then having the animations kind of pop up while they're doing their VOs. I love that stuff. They have that in spades in this release as well. Again, if you have not seen this, highest of recommendations from me, people. So we talked about a family-friendly movie. This next one is the exact opposite of that. No children should be present while Santa Claus is on and playing. TerraVision title right here, if that tells you anything about the label. It says not for kids right here. They absolutely mean it. This is very sleazy. Just a lot of TNA in this. Like, part of the movie is revolving around an adult film studio, I guess. It's a slasher, sleazy slasher, I guess is the best way to say it. It's okay. The dialogue is not the best. The acting is not the best, but there is a good enough story, surprisingly, around it to kind of make up for some of its downfalls in the production department, I guess. The transfer, TerraVision did what they could. There was not a lot good that they had to work with here. The killer is pretty interesting. He is hamming it up to the rafters while he's acting. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. What really keeps this movie afloat for me is the main actress, Debbie Rochon. Oh my God. This is the first movie that I've really noticed her in, but I've seen other movies with her in it. And if it weren't for her, my rating would be way down on this, but she is by far the best actor/actress in this film. And thank God she is the lead actor because she's in the majority of the movie. And if you are a fan of a little bit of sleaze and a little bit of cheese in your horror movie, I would recommend Santa Claus. For the majority of people, I would not. I gave Santa Claus Rare a 2.5 out of 5. There's also, like I said, it revolves around an adult studio. There's also a lot of nudity. There is so much nudity that they have a semi-softcore version of this movie in here, Scream Queen Naked Christmas, and that's loggable on Letterboxd too. I gave that a 2.5 out of 5 too, because it's pretty much what this movie is, except extra shot footage and very, very Skinamaxy stuff. I don't know. It's Santa Claus. There's the disc. We got some TerrorVision back when they were doing the creep coins. I don't know why they got rid of that. I guess because they have their own website and you don't need to cut anything out and mail it back to them. It's kind of a old school mentality. Like to see the reversible artwork in there as well. But man, TerrorVision, they must be using the same people who make the Vinegar Syndrome slipcovers, because this sucker is just as thick, just as nice. This movie's also made by Camp Motion Pictures, who put out the Video Violence 1 and 2, the same company. So I'm assuming that TerrorVision has a nice deal with them to kind of produce a lot of their stuff. Again, I love mixing holiday with horror. Wish there was a little bit more horror in this, but if you're in, I don't know, if you're in for a lot of sleaze with your Santa, give Santa Claus a shot. Next up, another Christmas movie, eh? Here's one that just came out this year, just came out a month ago, I believe, from Synapse Films, Infinite Santa 8000. And I saw this and I'm like, wow, this reminds me of some of the Flash animation that I watched back when I was in high school, like 2004, 5, 6, that era. And when I watched the movie, that's exactly the type of animation this is. And unfortunately, I did not like it that much. In 2006, this would have blown my mind. I would have loved it. And my teenage brain would have been exploding all over the place. Would have been a cult favorite of mine for years to come. Since I watched this so late in the game, I did not click with it at all. The humor was not up my alley. Very one-dimensional, very cheap. The animation style is very cheap. I love animation too, just was not loving what they brought to the table here at all. Ended up giving this a 1.5 out of 5. Wish I liked it a little bit more than what I did. Here is the inside and the pamphlet right here as well. It is based off of a web short, and in the special features, it includes the complete original 13-part web series, which is nice. And it also has commentary for that series, as well as commentary for the movie. If you like this, this is a great compendium for the entire Infinite Santa 8000 franchise. But for me, was not my cup of tea. I thought about doing this for a giveaway. I think it might be too late, this late in the game, right before Christmas. But maybe down the road, I don't like to keep movies in my collection that I rate a 2.5 or lower. Even though I am going to keep Santa Claus, I am not going to keep Infinite Santa 8000 because I'm never going to watch this again. And that's unfortunate. I love Synapse Films. I think they do a lot of great transfers, some of the best transfers in the game. They don't get talked about enough. Infinite Santa 8000 just was not for me. It was not for me, and that's okay. Another movie that came out this year that I wanted to love because I loved this man's last directed film, Psycho Goreman. His follow-up is Frankie Fro. I was rooting for this so hard. You have no idea. Love me some puppetry, love me some practical effects. Psycho Goreman floored me because I'm not a big fan of Power Rangers, but put that mindset mixed in with like a kid, a demented little girl. I thought that movie was great. Frankie Fro, on the other hand, I could not get into either. I feel like this is a either love it or hate it type of film compared to some of the people that I follow on Letterboxd, what they thought of this movie. Some people love it, some people hate it. I am in the hate it camp, unfortunately. I have to look up and see what exactly I gave this. I want to say I gave it a 2, but let's double check here. I gave Frankie Fro a 2 out of 5, and that bums me the heck out. But you know what? What do? You watch the movie. Sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't. Humor wise, again, this one was not for me. Just like with Infinite Santa 8000, did not find a lot funny in the way that they were portraying things here. It's a Scream Factory release, the rare Scream Factory release that I really haven't enjoyed. And there's a lot of okay special features on here. The behind the scenes is more like a home video shot. There's not a lot of talking. It just shows them filming a lot of the film. I don't know. This release to me is a dud, which is unfortunate. But if you want to try to give it a shot, Frankie Fro. I think it looks great. The Blu-ray transfer is solid. Just for me, the movie was not super solid. One reason why I also wanted to watch Frankie Fro was because it was described as being Gremlins-esque. And I love Gremlins. I love it. I say I love Gremlins, but it's another movie that I haven't watched for at least a decade. I've been on Letterboxd since 2017, and I noticed that I didn't have Gremlins logged on there at all. So I had to change that. I had to watch me some Gremlins. My oldest daughter got really into Beetlejuice this year with Beetlejuice coming out. So I kind of put her through some of like the 80s ringer of films. I gave her Beetlejuice. I gave her Little Monsters, Addams Family, late 90s or early 90s. And this kind of falls into the same vibe as all of those films. And I am happy to report that I still think Gremlins slaps pretty dang good. I might have some nostalgia goggles on, but my oldest daughter really liked it as well. I gave Gremlins a 4 out of 5. Gizmo is still cute as a button to this day. The Gremlins are a lot more cheesy in this first one than I remember them being. I remember them being super cheesy and charismatic in the second film. A lot more Looney Tunes-esque. There's some Looney Tunes chicanery in this first one, sorry. Went braid dead there. Stripe is really the only recognizable main gremlin in this film besides Gizmo. There's a couple things that didn't work for me. The Chinatown stuff, I feel like just slowed the movie down. The Phoebe Cates monologue with there being no Santa. Again, I was watching this with my oldest. She still believes in Santa. Thank God I'm an old man now, and I have been... I watch every movie with subtitles because I have been ingrained to do that ever since I had children and they were sleeping and I had to watch stuff very quietly and just read the majority of them. Now I just watch everything with subtitles because you get little bits of nice nuggets that you wouldn't even get. Like they have descriptors sometimes on the bottom of things that you wouldn't even recognize in the movie. So I like to have subtitles on for every movie, and thank God I did because I forgot that scene was happening. And I read it before it actually got said by Phoebe Cates, so I got my daughter's attention just in time. She did not hear that part, thank God. But how many childhoods did Gremlins ruin? Like how many people didn't believe in Santa Claus after they saw Gremlins? It's a little shocking to me. Little shocking. But yeah, classic movie here. You see my wet mitts right there. On the inside, I'll pop the Blu-ray out. I don't have the 4K yet. I just have the Blu-ray. I would hope that the 4K looks better than the Blu-ray because this transfer's rough. This transfer does not look the greatest at all. But sometimes, I guess, with these type of movies, it's nice to have that nostalgic grime almost on the film, just to kind of get those vibes, especially with like movies like Gremlins, like B-movie-esque films like Gremlins. But I still, after seeing this on Blu-ray, made me really want to go buy the 4K. So let me know in the comments if you have the 4K, how the transfer looks, because I would greatly like to know. One movie that I do have on 4K that I haven't watched since 2017 because it wasn't logged on Letterboxd, Christmas Vacation. I love the Griswolds. I think the first Vacation is a classic. I grew up on Vegas Vacation. It was on Stars all the time, so I watched it all the time. I have very nostalgic thoughts about that movie. I also haven't watched that one since 2017, but I remember loving it at the time. European Vacation, I caught a couple times. I want to say it's like one of the first breasts I've seen on film. I want to say because they were in Europe, even though it was rated PG-13, they let those suckers fly, and I think my brain remembers that pretty well. Christmas Vacation was the movie that I've really only seen once, and I don't have that much nostalgic value for it. And I think this is a great example of a movie whose pieces are better than its whole sum of a film. I love certain bits in this movie. Some bits are not great and they just drag on or think they're funny, and I personally did not. I don't know. So this feels very of its time, of 1989, or even like before that, even like 70s, 60s. For that era, it feels timeless. In 2024, you can still kind of go back and look at this movie with rose-colored glasses. But as a film, I thought it was pretty good. It's 3.5 out of 5, pretty good. I'm not going to rank it any higher than that. I love the sledding scene, putting the grease on there and them just kind of going super fast. At least I thought I remembered liking it, because I laughed when it happened. My daughter did not like it. I had a fun time with it. She was kind of rolling her eyes while we were watching it, because it is very cheesy and very... Is this the last good National Lampoon movie? I'm trying to think of any other ones that came out after this. I'm thinking of like Loaded Weapon, Van Wilder. This is better than Van Wilder, I can tell you that. This is probably the last classic National Lampoon movie. This is one that I will watch again, but I won't watch every year. It's solid, but I've gotten my nostalgic fill of the Griswolds just fine with this rewatch. There are a couple of Christmas movies there. Now let's go into an Arctic character, not really in this universe, but the Penguin. I really want to talk about the Penguin. I was a little late to the party. I feel like watching TV is very hard for me to keep up with because of its episodic nature, because it's like, okay, well, an hour here, I have so many movies that I would much rather be watching. But the Penguin caught my attention. I'm a huge fan of Matt Reeves' Batman universe with the Batman. I think it's right on par with The Dark Knight. I could go either way on which one is my favorite Batman movie. So when I found out that they were making a show on the Penguin that was akin to like mobster, The Godfather style storytelling, yes, checking so many boxes. And while a couple episodes are slow at times, for the most part, this show rocks. If you're looking for a great mobster film mixed in with the superhero subgenre, if you did not know that the Penguin was in the DC universe, you would have no idea that this was Batman related at all. It's very grounded, just like the original or the Batman movie is. And I loved it. I loved seeing the fights that went on between the two families and how that kind of swayed and went back and forth and evolved. And I thought Colin Farrell was phenomenal. I thought Christina Milioti, that's her name. She is a force in this movie. I loved seeing the voice of Mr. Krabs as a big mobster, a big head of the table mobster. That was so good. Yeah, this movie is very, very, or this show, I call it a movie. It felt like a movie. It felt like an 8-hour long movie. And there's talks of them doing a second season. I'd be okay if they didn't. I thought this show, God, I did it again. I thought this show put a nice ribbon on the character of the Penguin without going into spoilers, because I won't spoil anything during these movie logs. I want to either persuade you to watch them or to kind of make you steer clear of movies that I personally did not like. But The Penguin, if you have not seen it, if you like the Batman, highest of recommendations. Gave it a 4 out of 5. Definitely worth your time. And it's just hiding on Max. Go search it out. It's on there and it's good. It's very, very solid. Sticking on the streaming train, I will just go through a few like very quick fire streaming either movies or TV shows that I could recommend. One of which, speaking of hiding, like one thing I do not like about streaming services is that it's so hard to find something. Like if you know what you're looking for, you can type it in, that's fine. But this movie in particular, I had no idea it existed. I don't remember seeing it pop up in my feed. It came out this year. Looking it up on Letterboxd, nobody that I follow liked this movie. I was in the mood to watch more teenage debauchery movies. I watched American Pie, that 88 films in the last movie log. I was in the mood to watch more teen comedies. And I randomly came across this movie called Incoming on Netflix, and I loved it. I thought it's exactly what it needed to be, and movies aren't made like this right now. The last movie that I can really compare it to is Superbad. And I guess that's an easy comparison to make, just high schoolers trying to, go to a party, that type of thing. But what really made me stick around, just like with Superbad, is that the cast of characters I liked, and I wanted to see where they went. This movie has a great core four, if you will, kind of like American Pie. It's not on American Pie level, even though I ranked them the same. I ranked Incoming a 4 out of 5, and everybody I follow on Letterboxd was giving it like 1.5s, 2s. I don't know what they were expecting with this movie. It's not high art at all, but it's a very fun watch, and there are numerous scenes that had me laughing, had me cackling. My wife had already seen this movie. She was giggling at a character that popped up on screen. I'm like, why are you laughing? And she's like, just wait. And then she went to bed while I watched it. And that scene finally popped up that she was laughing at, and oh my God, it was hysterical. I don't even want to tell you who it was. I just want to tell you, if you are fans of teen comedies, please check out Incoming. I felt like it's slept on. I feel like I'm the only person talking about it because I'm on social media a lot and I do not hear anybody talking about this. I feel like the teen comedy is definitely past its prime for sure, but this is a prime example of one that's just kind of hiding in plain sight. One that came out this year. It's pretty high up in my 2024 movies I've seen this year as well. Hopefully sometime in January, I'll talk about every single movie that came out this year. January is where I really deep dive, same with November, and catching up on movies that I haven't seen this year. So you'll see some of those on Movie Log, but then I'll come and probably do a live stream of ranking all the movies. That sounds like a fun time. But yes, there is Incoming. The next movie I want to talk about is streaming now on Disney+. And while there is a plethora of Beatles content out there, and I know that they're kind of on the verge of making audiences Beatle out. With Get Back, it was fine, but it was so super long. Here's a documentary called Beatles 64, which talks about their first tour in the US. It starts out with ML King's assassination. I'm like, what's the correlation here? I know it happened around the same time, but the footage that they got mixed with the editing style they had, mixed with some information that I did not know, kind of elevated this content to one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. I gave Beatles 64 a 4.5 out of 5. If you're a fan of the band, highly recommend this. I like this better than Get Back. I thought Get Back was a nice, almost like a thing you shouldn't be watching because they were just making the album and you saw them kind of grow into finally coming back one more time, but knowing that like they're kind of sick of this whole thing. This is back to the very beginning to where they're all just bright-eyed boys having a fun time and having the world absolutely fall in love with them. And I'm a big Beatles fan. I think this is very, very solid. If you're not a Beatles fan, I get it. You probably will not watch this, but I do recommend it. I really do. And the last movie I want to talk about, I want to say this one's streaming on Netflix. It's called Insert Coin. My youth is full of me going to friends' houses, me going to arcades, playing a lot of 16, 32-bit gaming systems. And Insert Coin is about the company Midway and all of the great arcade IPs that they came up with. Loved it, hit the nostalgia bones for me so hard. Went through like how the games were made, how they were concepted, and just kind of goes through the trajectory of the company while pinpointing on the games that they made. If you're a fan of 90s video games, I think this is a very nice, well put together documentary. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Again, super high up. This came out in 2020, and this is the first again that I'm hearing of this. So yeah, if you like video games, there's something on Netflix for you. That's everything that I've streamed. Now I have 2 more movies to show off, both from boutique labels. I'll end with the Christmas movie. I will start with this beefy box set from Umbrella Entertainment, I Saw the Devil. Korean cinema is one that I need to dig into a lot more. Oh, that's upside down. I need to dig into Korean cinema a lot more. And there is no better reason for this than I Saw the Devil. I had a very, very entertaining time with this movie. I ranked it a 4 out of 5. I think this film is absolutely solid. Sometimes I'm thinking that every movie is going to be like Oldboy, coming from that part of the world. This one is not. This one seemed more like a just a crime thriller. It's very much a cat and mouse game, which I didn't know anything about I Saw the Devil. I just heard very solid things from a lot of people. And yeah, I'm trying not to spoil anything in here while I talk about it, but somebody does something very bad to a loved one of the main character. The main character does not like this, goes on a very demented spree of making this guy's life a living hell, and goes to a lot of painstaking details to not fully end this man's life and just make it be prolonged and get worse and worse and worse. There are things that happen. I thought the story was very entertaining. I thought the last half an hour had a lot of twists and turns to it that I absolutely loved to see unravel, for sure. 4 out of 5 here. This Umbrella Entertainment release is pretty dang solid. There's not a lot on the special features front, but I thought the transfer looked very, very nice. There is a Korean cut of this movie, which I did not watch because it's hidden in the special features. That's one thing I don't understand. I feel like this is becoming a bigger trend of having different cuts of the film hidden within the special features. Why not, when you play the movie, have the 2 different options? Like that seems to be the norm. Now I'm gonna have to check the special features before I play the movie. Who does that? That sounds like madness. But this also comes with a poster. Let's see if I can get it here. And one thing I love about Umbrella, they give you posters of artwork that's not on the release. More of this, please, more of this. Because if I want to see the artwork of the release that I have, I'll pull out the release and I'll look at it. Pet Peeves video coming. Pet Peeves video is coming, folks. Stay tuned for that, because that is definitely one of them for sure. But this also comes with a whole bunch of art cards. Can I show these? I think I can show these. There's blood, but it doesn't show anything super graphic. Yeah, I'm doing it. Let's do it live. Here we go. This will give you kind of a better look at the tone of the film. And again, I am very skittish on trying to spoil things for people, because I feel like that happens a lot with these review sites. Even if they don't mean to or not, I'm definitely not going to spoil anything for you here. It also comes with a big booklet. Boom, 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 boom. Big, nice, beefy box set from Umbrella Entertainment. 2024 was a great landmark year for the company. Cannot wait to see what they do in 2025. This is a release that came out in 2024. I think the box set is sold out. This was limited to 500 pieces, so I'm very much assuming it's sold out. But they still have the standard edition. If you like the movie, I would recommend it for sure. And last but definitely not least, oh my God. Oh my God, this is so jam-packed with content that I'm still digging through it myself. I have it in the player, in the other room. Once I'm done with this review, with this movie log, I will continue to watch the short films on Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. This was a release from AGFA and Something Weird. The slipcover was limited to 1,000 pieces. It sold out in a day. Absolutely crazy. I wasn't going to get it right away, but I saw that it was under 100. And with these, if you don't get them right away, you're going to pay stupid amounts of money for them on the aftermarket. Brand new copies of this are selling on eBay for $100. So stupid. So stupid. Surprisingly, though, I don't think it's worth $100, but it's definitely worth the $30 that I paid for it. I thought Santa Claus Conquers the Martians itself was fine. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. The movie itself is whatever, but this just feels, there's like a magical filter put over this thing. Made in the 60s. I think for what this is, it feels professionally shot, but still like homemade done, because all of the aliens are just people with green faces. The main killer robot in this Santa movie is just a dude in a suit with a cardboard box. Santa's magical in this. The kids feel like they are not of this time, because they're definitely not. They act like 1950s, just that era of no war, perfect life kids. I don't know. There's something magical about this movie for sure. And another thing magical is that AGFA went above and beyond and added some elements to this movie. Transfer doesn't look the best, but they didn't have a lot of great elements to make the transfer look good. So what they did was they went in and they grindhoused this sucker. The movie Grindhouse, they put a whole bunch of like interstitials in there, like intermissions. Go to the snack bar, mixed with some trailers. This does that too. It adds an intermission in here. It adds like very old school archival footage of like drive-in, go to the snack bar, buy some popcorn type stuff. AGFA has a lot of archival footage like this that they've done compilations of on previous releases that I need to add to the collection. Because after seeing this, I just want a 3-hour stream of that stuff in my veins. Pronto. Loved every second of it. And I don't know if you can see that in the special features. This release has 15 Christmas short films. Absolutely amazing. I've only seen one. I wanted to record this as quickly as possible. The one that I saw was A Christmas Dream, I want to say. 8 minutes long. Yes, A Christmas Dream from 1945. And I liked that way better than I did Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. It would have blown my mind. It blew my mind in 2024 how they captured the stop motion animation they were doing mixed with live action elements in A Christmas Dream. I couldn't imagine watching this in 1945 and thinking what witchcraft was happening in front of my eyes. But there are 14 more shorts to go through here, as well as there's an 88-minute Santa Claus Conquers the Martians roadshow version, preserved from something weird 16mm print, which kind of takes a drive-in approach to it. Santa Claus Conquers the Drive-In. That's a 60-minute short of going through a lot of these short films in like little 3-minute bursts and just kind of showcasing off a little bit of them. I watched about 6 minutes of this. There's one with like Santa and the Devil. The Christmas Wish one played, or Christmas Dream one played. Caught my attention very, very hard, and I can't wait to drill down on more of these. Stay tuned to my letterbox. I won't be putting these on the next movie log, it'll be past Christmas, but everyone that I watch will be on my letterbox. Follow me at Steelbook if you care to know my thoughts on some of these definitely hidden gems, hopefully hidden gems. A Christmas Dream is definitely a hidden gem. But there you have it. There is everything that I had to talk about in this week's movie log. I hope you and yours have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, however you celebrate it. I hope you celebrate it with loved ones, or just the love of movies if you are far away from the ones you love. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya. Ho, 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 boys and girls, I'm pointing at you. Have you been naughty or nice? I'll find out. I always find out. Well, hi, everyone. If you've watched this far, that means you found the after credits scene. Give it up for yourself. Good for you, you found it. You stayed past what my little title card was for the second time. Good job. Good for you. I always throw in a bonus question at the end of these. This one's very simple. What's your favorite Christmas movie? Let me know down in the comments. Mine, I did a live stream on it earlier this week. Mine is the 60s version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I think that is absolute perfection, captured in 23 minutes. Love it from start to finish. If you want to watch that live stream to go over every single holiday film, over 90 of them from the past, since 2017, what, 6-7 years? Watch that live stream, because I had a blast with it. Other people kind of jumped in, but you're watching this now. I'm always looking for new holiday films to watch, but I also want to know what your favorite one is too. Which one do you go back to every year? Let me know. And I'm trying to see, we're going to end We're gonna end on a totally non-holiday mode. I Saw the Devil. My goodness, zoom into that because there's some naughty bits in here. I'm gonna zoom into this back right here because yeah, this scene is crazy. And if you haven't seen it, you don't know what this is. But if you have seen it, oh, it's red and green Christmas colors too. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And it's messed up. Bye now. Ho, ho, ho.